Hello, welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Matt. There's Christy. There's Alonso. They are going to talk about Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Such a sequel, it does not even get a definite article. I didn't have a chance to see it, so they'll tell you all about it.
I went to an 11:40 a.m. showing by myself at the Starlight Terrace Cinema on Western.
Oh,
$5. It's $5 all day, you guys.
was
And
anyone else there?
Yes, there were like 6 people there in the biggest auditorium they have. So maybe they're expecting a big weekend crowds for Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Truly, I forgot that there even was a movie called The Hitman's Bodyguard,
Right?
for which there should be a sequel. I remember nothing about it. Even like looking at IMDb, like, oh, Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. I don't recall this film exists, and so now there's a sequel. Here's what's baffling to me about this. Why does this movie exist? Like the first one couldn't have done well, and it has like a 30 something on the tomato meter. Can anyone even like explain to me before we begin discussing whether it's good?
I believe it was actually a global hit. It did it pretty well here, but it did like really well overseas. And it's made by this company that does like a lot of like Bruce Willis and John Travolta action movies that barely get reviewed, and maybe in the olden times would have gone straight to streaming in the United States and then get sold around the world. And this movie has the stink of that kind of movie.
Yeah, again with an incredible cast, and
Yes.
everyone is just going to waste here. So Ryan Reynolds is once again the uptight bodyguard, but the big deal at the beginning is that he has lost his license, and that's like the running joke is that you can't be a bodyguard if you don't have the
Your
bodyguard
AAA rating.
license. The bodyguard license, and this is all he cares about. Like he's in therapy about it. It haunts him. He's lost.
Does
his
he have
license.
a licence for his minky?
What?
No.
Move on.
Sorry.
I don't get that at all. I don't understand the
It's a
question, and I
old-
won't respond to it.
There you go. We'll leave it at that.
Sorry.
So Ryan Reynolds gets a call. He insists that he is out of the game. You know, they always do. This is the premise of all the sequels. Like, oh, I'm out. And then you got to do your one last job. And so his one last job is when he goes on vacation, and Salma Hayek, who is the hitman's wife, she tracks him down to help her save the hitman played by Samuel L. Jackson. And so there's all kinds of zaniness with Salma Hayek being like super over the top and intense and profane and violent, and Ryan Reynolds doing this like deadpan kind of wry thing where he's just like along for the ride and baffled by the bizarre situation he's found himself in. They then team up with Samuel L. Jackson, who is the hitman, and they have like a love-hate thing, and they have to learn to become friends and work together to stop Antonio Banderas. All these possibilities exist here for a million better movies. And we've seen a million better movies with Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. Pairing them alone is not enough to make a movie that people should go see. But anyway, Antonio Banderas is this brilliant and wealthy Greek evil mastermind who is willing to destroy all of Europe by like taking some diamond, like it's a thing that bores into the place in the bottom of the ocean where all of the internet connections meet. Is it a real place? Is it like an American?
I don't know, but there's no way to describe the plot of this movie without sounding like a lunatic.
It's fucking stupid. So anyway, Antonio Banderas has made this thing made out of diamonds because it's like the hardest substance in the world to bore down into the internet connection to plunge all of Europe into darkness and make Greece the only place that has Wi-Fi.
I just want to make sure I understand. He's trying to kill the world's router.
Basically.
He's underwater.
But not only is he knocking out the internet, he's also knocking out the power and also making a lot of electrical things explode for no apparent reason.
But here's my question. Like how, if he destroys all of Europe's Wi-Fi, isn't Greece part of Europe? Like, doesn't that mess up his country too?
Apparently he's got, there's some sort of, we're thinking about it more than the writers did. I don't even know.
Greece has its own like Google Nest situation going on
Apparently,
here,
yeah.
so they're fine. Anyway, I think I laughed like twice.
Yeah.
It's a couple of lines because Ryan Reynolds has a way with his, kind of offhanded wry delivery that is often quite funny. I want to enjoy Deadpool and Nick Fury together. Nothing about that rises to the surface. I want to enjoy Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. And then Morgan Freeman shows up, and that becomes a whole bit with all right, I'm not going to say what he
Don't give it away, but
okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, this movie is useless. I had to go back and reread my Hitman's Bodyguard review to even remember that I'd seen it. Like it just completely flowed right out of my brain. And this is good. I will forget this one just as well as soon as we never have to talk about it again. Everybody shows up and just yells and then goes off screen. And there's like all these car chases that all end kind of in the same way with everything blowing up. Like Salma Hayek was kind of the highlight of the first movie because she's in two scenes. She's in two scenes and she's screaming and she's profane. And it's like, oh, well, that's a nice little jolt of energy. And so they decided, oh, well, let's build the second movie around her doing that in almost every scene. And it gets tiresome very quickly. The plot is nonsense. The actors are like on vacation in Italy and occasionally showing up on set to yell at each other. I'm a fan of big, dumb, all-star action movies. Like I will defend Hudson Hawk till the end of time. This is just not fun. It's not smart. It's not funny. It's just, it lies there limply. It's terrible.
And yet it's also frenetic.
Yes. It's frenetic and soul-sucking at the same time.
And I kept thinking, there is a movie to be made that explores the interesting contrast in delivery between Ryan Reynolds being low-key and understated and kind of self-consciously self-aware or whatever, and Salma Hayek just being all impulse and all id. That could be fun if something smart were written for the two of them to play off each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with, like you said, this cast could be giving you a million different better movies if they just had a script to work with, but they don't. And so, yeah, it's just all really kind of depressing. This just feels like, this movie that wasn't very good in the first place somehow managed to make a lot of money because of the stars, and they were either contractually obligated or the producers were able to figure out on a spreadsheet what it was worth to pay them to bring them back to do this all over again. What really sucks about this is that they're releasing it in IMAX, and so if you wanted to see In the Heights in IMAX and you didn't do it already, you might be out of luck because it might have been replaced on all those IMAX screens by Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Well,
check your local listings.
Yeah, the next week F9's coming along in IMAX.
Sure.
So that will displace this. This is directed by Patrick Hughes, who also directed The Hitman's Bodyguard.
And the worst of the Expendables movies.
I was going to say, prior to that was the third Expendables movie. Anyway, I say 1.5. I laughed a couple of times.
I gave it a 2 just for the sort of high gloss of it all, but don't bother.
And then there's an Overboard joke they keep making to the reference, the movie Overboard.
Yeah.
That's, hey, here's another movie that you might enjoy more than this one. Overboard.
I don't know. You guys might have talked me into seeing this.
No, it's not even worth a hate watch.
No.
I mean, it sounds kind of fun.
It's not.
No.
I wish it were. I wanted it to be fun.
I would be the first to acknowledge if it were pointless but still funny, but it's just pointless.
Yeah.
And it just, you're right. For a movie that is this frantic, it shouldn't feel like it's dragging this much, so.
Anyway, 1.8 is our number.
Yeah. So anyway, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, only in theaters. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And you really need to go join our Patreon at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Wrapping up Handmaid's Tale, getting into Loki, Off the Menu coming up, lots of other fun stuff that's subscriber exclusive. So make that happen. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.